Hello everyone, I'm Ragnarok, and welcome to The Reckoning. So today we're going to be starting a set of episodes following this character through the Age of Calamitous Mod on Conan Exiles. We'll be playing on a PvE-C online server. We're going to be checking out all the cool things that the Age of Calamitous Mod has to offer, a lot of the things that Conan Exiles has to offer, going over some tips and tricks that I've learned, and experiencing some of the new stuff that the mod has to add to the game, and maybe some of the newer items in the game that I've yet to experience. Make sure to hit that subscribe button above so you can be notified of any future episodes. We got a long journey ahead of us, and I wouldn't want you to miss any of it. So let's take a look. Let's get started. Alright, so here we are on the Broken Highway. This is pretty much where every new character spawns. Now, the confusing thing a lot of times is there's a broken highway right here, and here, here, and here. And I don't remember if there's one here. I don't think there is, though. I think there's just 5. Anyways, a lot of times, I remember my first time spawning in with a friend. I spawned here, and I believe he spawned over here or whatever. All these broken highways are exactly the same, more or less. They may wind a little different. There might be like an obelisk here on this one, and on this side, on this one, it's on the left side. But they're all pretty much the same, and they all pretty much wind all the way up to this beginning area, what we call New River. So just know that right off the bat. But they all pretty much have the same items along the way. First thing you want to do is you want to read this obelisk. You'll see these scattered throughout the map. They pretty much just progress the story. You don't really have to read any more of them. There are a couple that actually give you recipes. But the main reason you want to do it right off the bat is, as you go through the game, there are these things called journey steps. So right here, Chapter 1, you can click on them, and you can see what they are. Climb, drink, eat, and it gives you a little more description of what to do. So as you do those things, you will significantly, especially in the beginning, raise your experience and level. So, for example, we are sitting almost to level 2, about 2/3 of the way. Watch this. I'll do that, do that, do that. And now we are sitting at level 4. So we completed 3 journey steps. Climb something, kick, and dodge. Another nice little tip, something that people almost always miss, is Alon, sometimes it's a little closer, sometimes a little farther, but usually not too far from the starting point, you'll see a little rock. Sometimes it's just like one of these little rocks right here, and you'll see a sealed water skin on it. You can pick up the note. It just progresses the story more. I'll pick it up for... But you want to get the water skin. That will help you make sure you get some water. You can't craft it, so if you forget it or you missed it, not a big deal. You can make one yourself. But it's a free item, so why pass it up? And as we make our way to that river, we're just going to collect things off the ground. Since we don't have any tools, we basically spawned in more or less with no clothes, no items. Rocks off the ground, fiber from these plants, which you might as well get used to because doing this action right here is going to be, we're going to be just spending a lot of time doing early game.
And this message. Stranger, you have my pity.
So the server we're on,
Do not know how cursed.
for those that are already caught on, this is a slightly boosted server. The harvest rate on this server is 3 times. Which, in my opinion, is kind of equivalent to the 1 times in a vanilla server if you're running a regular vanilla server with no mods. The Age of Calamitous, early game, it is kind of a good amount of mats pretty fast, although some of the structures do require a little bit more than the vanilla structures do. But late game, especially with those late end game items, the amount of mats that they take is pretty considerable, and 3 times is still pretty much grindy. And like I said in the description, this is a PvE-C server, so it has PvP restricted to certain times of the night. Most of the people on the server don't even PvP anyways. It's pretty much a friendly server. Everybody here knows each other. We do have the Purge on, and building damage is turned off. So the only thing that can destroy buildings is the purge itself. So to complete a couple more journey steps, we're going to craft that. We're going to craft tools. And we're going to craft basic clothes. We're also going to craft a torch, a couple twine, and then we'll make a bedroll as soon as we have enough twine to make one. If you click on the items, it actually shows you what it requires to make. 5 hide, 5 twine. Go to twine. It takes 3 plant fiber to make 1 twine. So when you go through the fiber bushes, you will get bugs. Keep those on hand for now because you can't eat them. As you can see, watch. You eat them, they will actually fill your hunger meter, and it will help you regenerate a very small bit of life. Another little helpful hint is your tools. You hit this tree, you get 9 wood per hit, roughly. Sometimes you get 12. And you get some branches. We'll do one more. Wood and branches. Wood and branches. So, we change to the pick. And we're getting less wood per hit. We're getting about 3 wood per hit. But we're also, instead of branches, we're getting bark. So that's a little thing people sometimes don't pick up right off the bat is certain things you can use a different tool for and you will get a different material. It's good to know. So a lot of times when you, I don't know why I crafted 2 axes. That was an accident. But sometimes you'll want to use different tools, and there are more tools than just the pick and the axe. So as you go through the game, when you kill something new or you come across a new material, sometimes you want to just try different gathering tools to see what you get. And sometimes even certain animals give you different things depending on. So like a crocodile might give you different stuff if you use a pick versus an axe versus say like a deer. So let's use a torch. That's another journey step. Let's lay down our bedroll. So the bedrolls are pretty easy to make. You'll definitely want to make one of these and place these. What this does is you want to make sure you click on it and claim it as your own. If I die, it'll give me the option to spawn all the way back at the desert, or I can spawn back at my bedroll. Every time you die and spawn, it's supposed to keep you as the owner and you as bound, but I've noticed sometimes there's a little glitch and it will unbind you. So just make sure every time you either log into the game or you die and resurrect, just click on it again, make sure it says spawn point updated. That goes the same for the beds when you finally craft the bed. It's just good practice. Minimizes the chances of like a glitch or something just not working, or maybe you bound to a bedroll that's no longer there and it didn't update to your actual bed. Alright, so we're level 8. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to our attributes menu, and we're going to just give ourselves a little bit of vitality. And by a little bit, I mean all of it. We're also going to go here to our feats menu. This is where we're going to learn stuff, and I'm just going to pick up this 1 feat. And the reason I pick up that bruiser feat is because I want to craft myself a stone pike. So now I have a nice weapon. I'm going to drop these journals and scrolls. I don't need them. I'll just go and drop the seeds because they're really easy to get, and worker bees are really easy to get also. They do come in handy eventually, but for right now, I don't need it. And we're going to kill this little Ninja Turtle guy. Now, he looks intimidating, he looks big, but he's really just a big teddy bear. Hits a little bit hard, but they're slow. These are basically meant to be like level 1 to level like 5 creatures. They give you a decent good amount of mats, decent amount of experience. But they're easy to fight. Same with these guys. These guys are really easy to fight. And you always want to make sure you harvest the corpses. Doesn't matter if it's a creature, an animal, or even a humanoid. Or a human, I guess. So what we're doing right now is in the Age of Calamitous mod, you can pick one of 5 factions. Well, to pick the factions, you have to go to the faction hall. The faction hall is right in this little square right here is an actual building. It has an opening right here. So we got to make our way over it. So that's where we're going right now, so we can pick our faction. And then after that, we'll find a place to call home. Drink some water, and to fill your water skin, you just point yourself down to a water source, and you press the water skin button, and now it's filled. So there's a nice little blue bar beneath my water skin. Someone's got a nice little house over there on the server. Probably put some points in grit next, because I'm running out of stamina pretty fast. If we get in a fight like this, even these guys, I'm almost running out of stamina. So we're going to do that. Actually, we're about to level up. We'll wait. As soon as we level up, we'll put some points. There it is. We're gonna get that first point of vitality, and then the rest of the points are going in grit. Ooh, we got shot with an arrow. That's not very nice. We're gonna hide behind the tree. Just gets a little closer, and we're going right for her. So archers are pretty hard hitting. If you hide behind something they don't have a direct line of sight, a lot of times they'll get closer to try to get that line of sight. So it's one of the ways you can trick them. The one thing about the archers in this game is sometimes they kind of feel like they have aimbot. No matter how much you sprint and jump and strafe side to side, it's like they can pretty much almost guaranteed hit you. Even after they release, it kind of seems like it's tracing you in the air. So just be aware of that. Archers can be pretty rough. And so usually I try to aggro them and kill them first before getting into a fight with a fighter. Good practices. To regenerate life, you just need to eat stuff until you get potions in the game. Better quality food will give you more life. They'll do more ticks of regeneration over longer periods of time. So in this instance, I'm eating the eggs that we picked off the ground versus eating the bugs. They'll give me a little bit more life. Get me to that full a little faster. And we're basically going to kill almost everything. Once we get to a certain point, we'll just make a straight dash for the faction temple. But for right here, one-on-ones, we're just going to fight everything along the way just to get that extra experience, extra points. And I'm just going to eat a little bit along the way. And let's see. So when we get over to that little bridge right there, it's the start of a little thrall city. You'll see them scattered throughout the map. This one's a little larger just because it's the entrance to a dungeon. So like I said, we could fight our way through it. We're kind of weak. We're not really armored. So we're going to make the mad dash and hope we don't die. Fingers crossed. Now what you could do is I could take this bedroll, and we could just like place it down like right here. So if we do die like as soon as we enter the city or halfway through it, or well, it's not really a city, it's more of a camp, we'll respawn right there. But I'm going to take my chances. What you could do also is, and I've seen a couple people do, is they'll just kind of make a little small base on the river, kill the animals, gather some mats, get some like some basic armor, maybe a couple decent weapons, and then they'll come here and they'll basically fight their way through. It's not really that hard, but again, kind of want to just make my way through and pick my faction. I'm just excited to decide what I want to pick. I'm pretty sure I know what I'm going to pick this time around. Oop, I got crippled. That's not good. That's a bad sign. So the archers can cripple you, which basically stops you from running. A little problematic because Yeah, a couple more of the guys followed me than normally would. So that little sound we just heard was the ghosts that were on that platform. So you'll see that throughout the map when you're playing, while I kill these guys and explain it. There's little ghosts that kind of live out like past memories. They're used, most of them are used to say, hey, there's something here. You'll sometimes find like little books on the ground and stuff like that, or little obelisks where you can learn recipes and things that. But some of them, like this one right here, actually gives you a hint on how to do something. So what that one was doing, it was telling you, oh, it's going to do it again, which is going to be annoying because that, you got to kill this archer though. Basically what it's doing is it's telling you how to get into the entrance of this dungeon. And it's basically showing you exactly what you would need to do to get into it. Hopefully it doesn't play again. I think it's gonna though. I picked up some nice armor. You always want to make sure you loot the corpses. So anyways, this is Faction Hall. Technically this is in the vanilla game, this is the entrance to the Dregs dungeon. This is actually an entrance way to the starter level dungeon with the first dungeon boss. But they repurposed this room to also include the Faction Hall. So what it is each one of these little ghosts is a faction. At each place, it has a little description or a little demonstration of what kind of building you get that's unique to that faction, and some of the maybe the weapons and armor and stuff, and the flag to the faction. So this is the Cold Embrace. This is the Elven Covenant. Nice little one. Some white oak wood and marble. Bows and light armor. You have the Felgarth, which is more of like a mystical, magical. They do like transmutations and stuff. The Vangul, which is an orc faction. And the Stormhold Alliance, or Alliance of Stormhold, one or the other. Which is basically, a long time ago, they actually used to have more factions. Arkenvale, I forget, Stormhold, and Anor Hill or something. So what they did is they compressed all three of those into one and called it the Alliance. So that's what this is now. That's why there's 3 different color roofs. Each one used to coincide with the old factions. So this is, I usually debate. My favorites are the Cold Embrace, the Elven, and the Stormholds. I did Elven recently on an alt account. I kind of go between Cold Embrace and Stormhold here. The only problem I have with Cold Embrace, I really, really do like them, especially their end game. However, their building is just boring and black. So I think we're going to go with something that we can have a little more fun building with. So the one thing you want to make sure you know is that when you choose your faction, you can only do it once. Once you choose it, you can't change it. The only way to change your faction is to recreate and delete this character and recreate and make a brand new character. So make sure you choose wisely. If you have any questions or any, you just can't make up your mind based on these little examples they have right here, I do have YouTube videos up that go into detail on each and every faction. It shows every building piece, every piece of armor in the stats, every weapon in the stats, all the little cool utilities you get, and the decorations. So you can see everything each faction has to offer. So definitely check those out. So once you talk to the little guy and you can get the little piece of lore information, you'll get a token for each faction that you talk to. So all you have to do is click one of the token you want. Make sure you click the right one, Stormhold, and you hit use. If you have any other tokens, you can just drop them on the floor. And yeah. And I'm actually going to trade that egg out for some salted berries. That will help us get a little more life a little faster. And what we're going to do is we're going to go here. And we're going to get some more points. There you go. Into grit. The grit will help us run longer. It'll give us more stamina so we can run longer without actually getting exhausted. and we'll be able to fight longer and do more attacks without getting exhausted. Well, the first thing you want to do when you pick your faction, or shortly after you pick it, is you go to the Religion tab. As soon as you pick a faction, all the items you get for that are located in the Religion tab. So you want to make sure that you learn these as they become available. These two should be available for each and every one as soon as you pick them, more or less. Yep, both at level 3 and level 5. And then you won't unlock the next one to level 20, 40, 60, and 80. 60 is the last tier of building that you can build for your faction, and level 80 is all the endgame gear, armor specific to your faction, and weapons, and some others. This one comes with some trebuchets, but a bunch of weapons. Actually, while we're in there, we might as well grab the other feats, right? So once you grab those, there's one more feat you want to make sure you grab, which is the Art of the Craft. This will allow you to construct an enchanted table, which will in turn let you actually build the structures that are specific to your faction. So that's a big one. You want to make sure you learn that. Apothecary, you don't have to learn off the bat. On some of the factions, like the Elven one, you'll be using like Moon Dust and Mystical Dust for some of the starter stuff. So you will have to pretty much learn it too if you want to craft any of those things. For Stormhold, I don't believe I need any of this stuff until like mid game, but I'll just unlock it now because I have the points. The other two important things I would say is the blacksmith and iron tools and journeyman butcher. That will let you get a blacksmith bench, which will let you craft, a furnace, which will let you craft a blacksmith bench, which will let you create iron picks, hatchets, and a skinning knife and a cleaver. So basically the basic mat gathering tools. And then we have a bunch of points left, so we're going to unlock the other things that we know we'll need, more or less, right off the bat. You'll definitely want to get the Primitive Cook also, and the Thrall Taker. That will let us craft the truncheon and the fiber binding, so we can go club some thralls over the head, capture them, and put them to work. We get a bed so we can get a permanent spawn location. I don't really care about the torch right now. The weapons we're good on. We'll stick with just the pike. We will get the armor, the first level one, which will give us the armorer's bench, so we can craft some of this armor. As you can see, I do currently have all the DLCs that are out. As of recording this video, there are currently 5. But when you get in the vanilla game, if you don't have any of the DLCs, you will get this one, which does come with a bunch of armors already anyways. So don't worry, you're not missing out if you don't have the DLCs. Let's see. Okay. Oop, you know what? Nice little tip. If you come out of the faction hall, take a quick left, go straight up this hill. On top is an obelisk. They're not really needed for a while. You won't be able to utilize those for a good amount of time, unless you come across another player that left their obelisk out in the open, or their map room out in the open. But basically what these do is you can eventually learn a recipe for a map room. And what it does is it's basically a map of the entire, it's like a model of the entire map. And it has little stones around it. And what it does is, if you've touched one of these obelisks, you can basically teleport from anywhere on the map that, as long as you're at a map room, to this obelisk. But you have to actually touch each one of them that are spread throughout the map first. And it's a journey step too. So it's good to at least do that right off the bat. Looks like we're stuck on a little hill right here. Alright, then we're going to try to run our way back out. I'm going to do it without fighting. When we get some decent... I'm going to stop here and get this real quick. So there's a little book on the ground. I know it's there, and we learned an emote from it. So nothing that's necessary or need no recipes. It's just a cool emote. I'm kind of a completionist, so I really do like grabbing all the emotes. There's a good amount spread out throughout the entire game. So you can pretty much spend a hefty amount of hours just emote hunting. So we're going to make our way back east to where we're going to build our first base. But there are a couple stops we need to make along the way. A couple checking the boxes so we don't have to come back to this area until we really need to or want to. Glad I added those points in grit. Lots of running, and even with the good amount of points in grit, we're still running out of stamina often enough. So right here by this little flame, you'll see these little gray nodes. This is actually iron nodes. The main reason you want to do it right off the bat is because it's a journey step. It's a good amount of experience. But also, iron is what you need to get iron weapons. There is not a lot of it on this area. Like I said, we call it Noob River. Most of it you don't see until you get up into this area, more or less. But there are little nodes here and there. So every little bit counts. It's just that much closer to having your iron utilities and your iron weapons. Again, we're going to run by these guys for sake of expediency. Normally I would fight them. So the turtles, the green one we fought earlier, they're passive. They won't actually attack you unless you attack them. The red ones, however, they hit a little bit harder. At least it feels like they do. But they are very aggressive, so they will attack you on sight. So like earlier I was saying with the ghosts. See if we can get it to... There we go. So like I said, sometimes the ghosts say, hey, do this to get this. But sometimes they just say, it's pretty much a marker of, hey, here's a book. You can read it and you learn something. Here we learned the submissive emote. And there's a nice little iron node too. There are a good amount of those little books spread out through the map, though, that teach you recipes. Some of them are actually really, really cool. You get recipes, and you can't learn those recipes any other way other than through those little books or tablets or obelisks. And what we're going to do is we're going to go right over here to Shaman's Rise. And sometimes, of course... he's running away for some reason. There is a thrall that's not attacking, and when you get close to it, it actually says, press whatever to talk. Most likely it's going to be E. My keys are rebound. And this guy doesn't even know what he's doing right now. But the main reason we came over here is, in the very beginning when you were creating your character, you picked a religion. Well, if you did not pick Yogg, you can talk to this guy, and you can learn Yogg. So my suggestion is when you make a character, don't pick Yogg. It doesn't really matter if you do. You can basically learn every religion in the game. There's a trainer like this spread out through the entire map. The main reason I never pick Yogg is because he is literally right here on Noob River. He's the easiest one to get. You don't have to fight anything to get to him. You just come over here. You come up this little hill, around, right there. Boom, done. Nice and simple. It's not too far from the spawning area. The rest of them are all up here and up here. There's one way over here, one way up here. So Yogg is really close, so I would never pick him off the bat. But again, if you did, it doesn't matter. So another cool thing to say is these dead white trees. Use your pick on it. We're getting 12 bark per hit. Oh, I hit him by accident. Hopefully he doesn't attack me. If you see when we hit the live trees, we only get about 6. We got about 12 bark. on that. From one hit, we get 9 bark, 12 bark, another 9 bark. You also get dried wood. So when you make a campfire or a furnace, you have to put fuel in it. You put regular wood in it, it has a set amount of burn time. You put dried wood in it, it has, I think it's like 2/3, or not 2/3, sorry, 2 times or 3 times the burn time. I forget the exact numbers, but it's basically a better fuel source. One piece of wood, dried wood, will last a lot longer than one piece of normal wood. There are a handful of fuels throughout the game, but in the noob area, dried wood, this is a really great place to get it, and you actually need bark. Bark is actually another really good fuel. Bark actually, I believe, has double the burn time as normal wood. You will need bark for tanning stations to turn hide into leather. And it can be kind of grindy if you're doing it on normal trees. So right here, our pick broke. So what we did is we just pressed the button again, and as long as you have the mats to repair it, you'll automatically start repairing it. You can't use it while it's being repaired. As you can see the message. So the stone pick and the stone hatchet, all they take is some stone. I think it takes like 4 pieces of stone from a broken. So what I would always make sure is you have at least, walk around with 4 pieces of stone. It really doesn't matter with the stone ones. It's not that bad, because if my pick broke and I didn't have any stone on me, I would just pull out my hatchet. And even though I get less stone per hit, you can get enough to then fix your pick, and then boom, you're back in business getting more stone per hit. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to build our base right over here. So there are a couple places I would suggest to build a new place. This is one of them, this little region right here. I usually say along this wall right here, on this peninsula, or on the edge of this island right here. The main reason is because this area right here has a good amount of iron nodes that are really easy to get to. There are also a good amount of low-level thrall camps here and in this general region. And then there is an area to get brimstone, which we'll talk about in a later episode, in this general region. So you're close to a very good amount of mats that are easily accessible. Another very popular place to build is this area right here. Main reason is you're close to water. You're close to wood and stone. And then right up here and all in here is iron galore. You'll actually find a lot of coal too, which is a good fuel source. And then again, a lot of thrall camps right in here and here, all on these ridges. So you're close to a lot of stuff. What we're going to do is we're going to use a little bit of editing magic, and we're going to fast forward, running all the way to where we need to be. All right, so we made it, and here we are. This is where we're going to build our starter base. We're going to actually build it right here on this flat area. It's got a nice overlook. It's pretty close. The iron nodes I was talking about, they're all right over there and behind that shelf right there. Lots of trees on that little peninsula, which I said that's a really good place to build too. So I sometimes have built right there, like a little hut with a little bridge, and I build in the water using pillars and stuff. Good amount of stone, a lot of creatures that can give me hide when I kill them, or reptile scales. There is a thrall camp right around that corner. There's two right around that corner. And if I follow this hill up, there's two more up there. There's a cave right there that has spiders in it, and not too far over there is the Brimstone Cave. So we got a lot of mats really close, as well as some good low level to mid level thralls camps that we can definitely solo. Again, this is a PvEC server, so there's PvP, but there's no base rating. So I don't have to worry about making a more hidden base or a more protected base, other than the purge. But at this low level, I'm not really worried about the purge. We'll probably move before our purge meter actually fills up and triggers. If you're on a PvP server, you can always think about maybe building like up there on one of the higher pillars. You could probably build a small enough base where you couldn't see it unless you actually climbed up there, which a lot of people are not going to do randomly. Especially not if it's a very small base. It probably might not be worth it. Or you can make a little stash house or something like that. But let's do some building. So we're going to build out of Age of Calamitous mats only, at least right now. First thing we need is an enchanting table. Second thing we'll need a construction platform. So the construction platform, we actually need oak wood and slate. Well, we only get wood and we only get stone, so we don't actually get those things. These mats right here, click on some of this other stuff. Let's see if I can find something else. Linen cloth. What else? See if I can find something that's shaped oak wood, marble brick. Those are things that are AOC specific, and by AOC I mean Age of Calamitous. They're Age of Calamitous specific mats you can only get in this mod, and the way we get them is I'm gonna place this over here. You can pick these back up and return them to inventory, so it doesn't really matter where you place them. I'll place them right here for now, and then after I build, I'll move them into the place. What we do is we put the wood and the stone in there. You pick what you need. So we need 40 slate. Here's a slate right here, marble, chronics. And we need 40 of them. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we need 25 oak wood. And there you go, 25. Now, while that's doing that, we could go off crafting, but we're not. We're just going to sit here and watch it. Actually, we will put down a bedroll, so if we happen to die, we can spawn right back here where our stuff is. And again, if you want to see where that is on the map, right here. Like I said, this little jut right here, that's where the iron nodes are. It's actually right here along this little shelf right here. On this side too, and then on the back side by the beach, there's a couple nodes. And that should be almost done. And it's done. Let's take it into our inventory and craft our construction platform. There we go. And for sake of just saving room, I'm going to move it, obviously. We're just going to let it clip through each other. A lot of the Age of Calamitous stations can actually clip pretty well. It's not really... looks good, but again, when I put these actually inside the house, I'll make sure they're not clipping. But for now, for sake of just keeping them close together, not taking up this whole area, we're just going to do that. So, once you go into there, you can see your different structures you can build. And we need oak wood to build our first structure. And it's all oak wood, as you can see. So you're basically going to be grinding a lot of wood to craft. Now, when you do the roofing pieces, they do require marble, which would mean you require some stone. But you're not going to use a whole lot of wood, roof pieces, not as much as you will these pieces. So, oak it is. Another little trick is, so we can craft 2 pieces of wood, and we had to wait for each one of those to craft. Or, if you click the next one over, and each one of these has 2 of them. This one's 1 to 1, this one's 100 to 100. So we hit one of those, we craft, done. Now we craft 100 at a time. So And the time it takes to craft one, if you do this one, it crafts 100 for this one. So it is a lot faster if you just craft in increments of 100. See, I did 500 in the time it would take to do 5 individual ones. So it's a lot faster that way. We're going to make a bunch of foundations. While we're waiting, we can look at our feats, see what we've unlocked for time. Let's see. Do we want to do any weapons? I'm actually going to unlock the sword now, because we can get ourselves a nice little axe, which would complement the pick pretty good. We'll get the bonfire. It's just a nice, easier way to get some of to cook a lot more at once. We'll get the tinker so we can do some repair kits. Pretty handy. We'll do the furniture maker. You get the artisan bench at that point. You can do a lot of like a lot of the torches and lights and stuff like that are through that. So do the torches. Come over here and just do we're just gonna do just this one. Actually, I lied. We're gonna do this one too, so we can get the wall brazier. I'm not gonna actually unlock any of these. We're gonna save the points because we're gonna build in all Age of Calamitous stuff anyway, so we don't really need to know the sandstone. Eventually, once we get to higher levels, we will unlock these tiers, so we can unlock some of the DLC tier 4 buildings or tier 3. So we can mix them in with Age of Calamitous stuff, because there are some really nice ones. And these structures should be done building now. Oops. Yep, there we go. And we're going to build right here. Line it up. We're going to lift it a little higher above the ground, because I know it's not perfectly level here. And boom. Easy as that. Okay, if we can get on top of this. There we go. She didn't want to jump. And that's 12 pieces, just like that. 500 wood. And we don't even have our foundation structure down. But as you can see, nice little basic looking wood. Nothing special, nothing fancy. But it definitely looks a lot better than the sandstone structure, the vanilla tier 1. So it's one of the nice things to do. Instead of having all these ugly orange sandstone structures around the map, you can have all these nice wood structures, and each faction's wood is different color. I think there's one faction that shares the same oak color wood. I think it's the Felgarth as the Stormhold Alliance, but all the other ones are entirely different colors. Once you get into the tier 2, 3, and 4, every faction is different. But I think we'll call it on that one. We'll do some grinding mats offline. We'll get some of the basics of the structure built offline. When we return next episode, we'll be doing some iron hunting. We'll be doing some thralling, killing some thralls, trying to capture some thralls to put on a wheel and break them and put them to work. Maybe we'll do some of the mini bosses that spawn around this area, and we'll be venturing a little farther north, not too far, but that'll be a good episode. Hope to see you then. And let's see, let's get a good look of where we are. Let's take that mask off. What do you think? It's a little scary. Got scared for a second. But anyways, thank you everyone. Like I said, I'm Ragnarok. Thank you for joining me on episode 1 of Age of Calamitous for Conan Exiles. Make sure to hit that subscribe button above to get notified when the next episode drops. Also, if any of my other content, like I said, I do some walkthrough and guides, overviews of different things in Age of Calamitous and Conan Exiles alike, and we do play a couple other games also. If you liked the video, hit the like button below. It does help out the channel, and it also lets me know what kind of content you are all interested in. If you have any suggestions for future videos, questions, or comments about this video, feel free to leave them in the comment section below. I do read those on a regular basis and respond to them. Also, if you want to see more of the content, I do stream on Twitch at twitch.tv/Ragnarok Live. You can also join our Discord channel. Oh, there's an enemy right there. I was like, ooh, scared me for a second. But again, you can join the Discord channel. We have a lot of news and info in there, and then we're always in there talking about all the different stuff and getting ideas for future videos. The links for both are in the info section below. And once again, thank you everyone for joining me on this episode 1 Age of Calamitous Journey, and I will see you next time.